ready for the first game of the Tez Ffmic Max India Cup. We are taking off over the skies of Alpine.
Right from Garrison, all the way towards Stadium, from north to south, cutting the map in half, giving everybody the opportunity to get to their drop spots. But we were asking this question, me, Ado and Ora were having a discussion. Hey, do you think there's going to be a clash right from the start? And Crips, I want to ask, I said no, and all of them were in agreement to it. Do you think there's going to be a drop clash right at the start? Because there seems to be a tad bit of a possibility.
I think they will try to go for a drop clash, but they won't fully invest in it. They might just have three of their teammates fight, but then maybe they'll ask one of their teammates to escape. And that's exactly what I'm worried about, because some of these teams try to escape so much, and then they keep on reviving, and then you can see that the team is reviving. Obviously, everybody will go jump towards them, hoping to get some free elimination points, and then you just end up becoming cannon fodder, and everybody's just farming on you. So far, when it comes to farming, it's SATUL, Aura farming on Car98, RB, Chunku almost got taken down, and Foxtrot gets the elimination onto Marvel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have first blood, and the superhero has fallen. Or was the instant revive. Luckily, he didn't the right around the corner, and he gets Marvel back upon his knees. Can Car98 finish off this team entirely, or will SATUL escape?
SATUL in big trouble. They're stuck, and Car98 running circles around them in terms of information. However, one of the players seems to slowly dissipate, peel off. Divine stuck, big damage on him. Soul spots him, he's going for a chase, he's calling for his teammates, and I think X-Divine, he has nowhere else to run. Has to either go in for this 1v1 or give up his life in this battle. And yes, eventually falls down, and this is what Car98 wanted to start on a high note at Forest Red. They're already getting those eliminations, and there is also a hit list being activated. And this is the start of the Grand Finals, and there is so much happening.
Hit list activated. One was got marked for that. But Car98 Army right now really want to just confirm where SATUL are. They use the vernaculars to figure out that there's only two players over here. If all members of Car98 can converge on this position and get these two eliminations using their superior numbers, SATUL will once again end up becoming the punching bag, and Car98 will get 2 more points in their kitty.
Car98, 3 total booyahs here now. The team first to qualify in week 3 day 1. Top team, they entered with the booyah. Can they start with the booyah?
Car98 has to be the strongest team on this map. Historically, you remember the team of the performance. They're proving it once again. Soul gets that triple elimination, and he becomes the elimination leader.
Triple kill.
There you go. 4 eliminations to Car98 Army's name. And with these eliminations, they've farmed up so much money that they can continue buying and upgrading their weapons. SATUL will survive for the time being, but another hit was activated by Car98 Army, this time on Team Tycoons. Hold on though, even though Team Tycoons have been marked for dead by the members of Car98 Army, it's Masista Eastwoods who's getting knocks on them. And now the battle between Masista and Team Tycoons continues to rage on.
Tiger trying to go at qualifier as Mutlu up close and Gersten to take them down one after another. Goku, he's down on his knees. Amin couldn't protect his teammates. And Tiger running close and as fast as possible. If he can be a cheetah here, faster than Amin, and he will.
But Amin, what? No way! No way, Amin! He was marked for death by Masista. And he's managed to eliminate them within the first 3 minutes of this game. One team has been eliminated already, and it's Masista, Lucifer. They were one of the strongest teams of Al, and they've been eliminated right off the bat on their strongest map. This is definitely not the start that Masista Eastwood were hoping for.
I was just talking about him. He's the Tiger, the cheetah, all of these Animal Kingdom coming into play, and they've been poached. I don't know what happened. Team Tycoons, they were in a position of no retreat. Amin's position was compromised. Tiger, I thought he knew because there were shots taken at Tiger, and Amin's position should have been compromised. He should have checked it, at least placed the glue wall, but no says Team Tycoons. And Team Tycoons are that team who managed to qualify in week 3, day 2. As soon as a lobby leader, the dominator, was not there. Total Gaming, a team which everybody worried about. The powerhouse was missing. Team Tycoons instantly stepped in that shoes and qualified in the top 2 in the week 3, day 2. And now they're showing us why they did it, how they did it. But unlike them, NG Bros, they didn't have a similar journey. What would they do different to make sure this starting game is going to be different? As Aiku reckoning right next to them, couple of shots were taken. It could be a battle in initiation.
It's very well could be a battle because NG Bros aren't really trying to hide their position. For them to call up that monster truck on top of that this early in the game, oh boy, I think they'll put this up and down. They might have put it up and listen to the no edge. Obviously, some of these players are very good at predicting the zone, and a lot of the teams are starting to converge upon this position. You know, Reckoning Esports picked a tiny house, acquired 4 corners, and now they're going to set up camp over here. So if Reckoning Esports, NG Pros, even Godlike is positioning themselves over here, they must have figured out that this is the circle ends, and now these teams are already trying to gather the power spots in this point of interest.
Still wondering about the hit lists. Team Tycoon still have one from Car98 Army on the other end, one plus God's Rain, who placed that hit list on Total Gaming, eventually coming out. Time run out and they didn't go for a chase. That was just information that they needed rather than using the airborne that we generally see from every player. They use the hit list. Amin still has a minute to go and to survive. Imagine a man who clutched and saved his team has a hit list on him, but he's not going to be worried. They're playing at the edges of the play zone. They're taking the damage in case it comes through because they want to make sure they are ready when they move in. They just finished up a fight that they were not ready for, a fight that they could be their first elimination, as now one team, when we thought it couldn't have been possible, have been eliminated in Alpine, and another fight in the brewing. One plus God's Rain. They are ready. They've spotted the Arsenal, and it is Nightmare in trouble.
Do they take the risk of actually initiating this battle? Doing it. They're not relenting. The nades and the cryo bombs go flying through, but look at Ansh. He's knocked himself down, misusing that launcher, and he's got himself down on his knees. Nightmare will capitalize on this mistake. The captain Razakatun might be down, but obviously there's a chance to finish off this team entirely. Ansh trapped in that corner, trapped in the controls. Does Uchak not realize that he's still over here? They are hunting down Kaushik, who's very far away, but they completely ignore the fact that there is a straggler right under their noses. Anshu, as sneaky as a ninja, is hiding and biding his time, praying to the heavens above that somebody distracts Nightmare Esports, and his nightmare of being stuck inside this comes to an end.
Arjun is still around the Arsenal. The glue walls, if they start breaking and Arjun is able to spot him, that could be the end of all. Radhe Thakur has been revived, and Anshu is still breathing without making any noise. He's just hidden. He's in stealth mode right as of now, not letting anybody know of his location. They don't want One Plus God's Rain to be the next team to be eliminated, but no, it happens. Eventually, the glue wall and the dreams of One Plus God's Rain, they go out.
That was a mistake you cannot afford to make on such a big stage. A self-block. You can't make that mistake, man. That was an unforced error. Instantly giving a man advantage to Nightmare Esports. And then the two teammates that escaped, Anju somehow decided to stay over there. I really thought that he could get away from there, man. It would have been so funny if he actually managed to survive over there.
One Plus God's Rain were the ones to initiate that fight, and they're the ones to be eliminated.
Now that is a mistake that you cannot deal with. The repercussions of it.
Game number one.
Yeah, the repercussions of it can't be put a price on.
Well, every other team are going to be looking forward to a big game. A game crossing 30 total points. One Plus God's Rain versus the Esports. They have to be okay with only the eliminations that they were able to take. Circle slowly closing in, and Team Tycoons traversing what is dread as they get closer towards the center of the circle. But you could see the pain of all these teams that they managed to get here in the grand finals, and that pain tells them to not take a very early on fight, because just as One Plus God's Rain versus the Esports went out, that is going to haunt them till the end, because game number one was put to dust without anything.
I mean, technically, the decision to take a fight then and there was a rather good one because that would have been an isolated fight. All these teams, Godlike, Vecting, Depots, SHL, even K9 for the matter, nobody will leave their spot, go out of their way and third party on that fight. You know? So one plus Godlike, if they want to be aggressive and pick up that fight against Nightmare, this is the only time you can find an isolated fight. But they stepped on their own toes, tripped over their own shoelaces, and now they're out. After this, if any team decides to initiate a fight, they are at a risk of getting third party. So they must tread carefully.
Nightmare was super confident while they stepped up on the stage. And now they have another opponent in front of their sights. But Team Tycoons, they escaped the jaws of death by just the Benson. And that was Amin. He was the pincer, he was the thorn versus Thai Esports. Team Tycoons rather decide, let's back off. Maybe a fight that we are not ready for. Maybe a fight which could indulge in a third party that they're not ready for. Because that isolated fight gave them an opportunity. Now, as we are getting towards the final few circles, as teams are being pushed into compounds closer, not like right next to Revenant X Spark, right next to that compound is Aiku Reckoning, and a little further, NG Bros, and eventually Jaunty Gaming's Vincent, who did not have a big game, is now eyeing with the sniper ready on that VSK to see if he has a chance to go all out today.
The Fanfare and Total Gaming are yet to find a spot inside the circle. They stick to the edges because they like being aggressive and they kind of want to farm up all the elimination points in this kind of a map. They know that they don't have much of a chance to acquire a clear. I mean, historically, Alpine hasn't really been kind to them. And these guys don't even have a lot of eliminations. They're like at 66 eliminations in the league stage on this map. So they know for a fact they don't need to have a head start on this map. It's not their strength. But Total Gaming, if you can take a look at the mini map, are now flying it towards Jaunty Gaming. This could be a dangerous battle. At the same time, SATL are just taking pot shots at NG Pros. That is fine. I don't think anyone worried about that one. NG Pros have a calculated risk. If they enjoy the center of the circle, they know that a lot of teams will focus on them. So that's why they're just lying down. And in case any teams have a Coda or a Q ability equipped, it won't be a revealing their position. Even though they are on top of this top, Total Gaming are okay with handling all this pressure. They know that the only other team that can actually harm them is NG Pros, and that will be with like long-range pot shots. So Total Gaming and NG Pros can probably deplete each other's resources.
But there seems to be trouble for NG Pros. His Team Tycoons, they're also taking shots at them. Manu was knocked on that roof. He will be revived. But on the other end, even Godlike and Revenant X Spark start a fight off. This is the problem, and it starts off Team Tycoons and Total Gaming both together against NG Pros. Double striking, clear after clear, dropping down like fleas, and it's a full-on elimination.
They were stubborn. NG Pros, I thought they could at least drop down and have one of their players survive. NG Pros were well versed with this. They knew that being in the center will attract a lot of attention. But now Total Gaming have a new threat to deal with. It's Jaunty Gaming who are taking shots at them. And while these two teams are actually sharing the same compound, Godlike from afar is trying to shoot down Total Gaming, but Shanky with a double elimination. Everybody's focusing down on Godlike, and as they come crashing to the shores of SATL, they have to defend their own compound as well against Nightmare Esports.
SHL, they are taking down Nightmare one after another, but Godlike, he gets eliminated. The main man Yogi and a full team elimination, upset after upset. Unfortunate start for a lot of these teams. Marvel has lost Arsh, but Nightmare, when a similar situation was there, they still fought off and fended their opponents.
SHL have control of the best possible position in this game because they have access to the vending machine. Even if they lose their players, they can probably get them back. But the zone will eventually push them out, and Nightmare Esports will be also in a similar spot. They both will need to leave this area, and so many teams are focusing the Skylers on them. Amin with that golden grenade destroys SATL once and for all.
And that's Team Tycoons, one after another, looking forward to a lot more. Total Gaming, they are trying to hold off Aiku Reckoning, a team who are holding off NG Pros. Sohan is down. The MVP player for Aiku Reckoning is going to be in trouble. But on the other hand, Guard 90 and Army fully fleeced and sent out.
Total Gaming now rushing into the throats of Reckoning Esports. Aztec from top. He will be where Shanky has great angles. They can be shooting at them. But the rotations from Total Gaming put them in a risky spot. Mafia gets the knock onto Vincent, but he gets shot down in return. and Johnny Gaming have way too much to focus on. He knows Clash is firing at everyone. He's taking pot shots and threatening esports, but elite. Look at him. He's got the elevation onto Nightmare Esports and Archon, the top fragger of the league stages, down on his knees. He might just get confirmed as well because Aztec has the grenade launcher and he can throw Ravage down to smithereens. Nightmare Esports in so much trouble, surviving on their last legs, and they are wobbling. They are shaking. Total Gaming up at 10 eliminations. They are farming this lobby.
The elimination lobby leaders, but they are also under pressure, not safe. Team Tycoons have had their eye from the very start of it. They've been the ones who've been dropping them, knocking them, and right now, Team Tycoons, they have the best position, a compound, a wall to defense, and enemies right ahead.
This wall is going to be their last stand. Anyone who dares to come ahead of it will have to go through the trial of fire. And there's only one team who's wearing hazard suits right now, and that's Revenant X Spark. Can they actually go ahead and challenge them? I believe they don't need to. They're very safe, tucked inside this little compound, tucked inside that little brick house, and they are going to defend it with their lives. Team Tycoons also recognizing the shift in base in the lobby and put their position safely behind that truck.
Team Tycoons, they've been very methodical, clinical, but Hitman, he gets taken down. Kunal.
Oh my god!
On the other end, Kid, the last survivor, gets eliminated. Jaunty Gaming, irrespective that they're on their last two players in this top 4 fight alongside Revenant X Spark, Team Tycoons and Total Gaming, they're not ready to give up. Team Tycoons find an opening. Total Gaming, while Revenant X Spark's player got knocked, they're pushing into it, finding an opening. Lewis trying his best, puts one player down along with KD God, but will not survive for long. Total Gaming, they have the best advantage while Team Tycoons are in trouble. The fight ongoing. Total Gaming have to cross, but the wall that we spoke about is being a big problem. Total Gaming using it, making sure that as soon as the play zone is shifting, they're ready to move on.
Johnny Gaming is already inside that zone, and Total Gaming will follow suit right behind them. It's Team Tycoons that are at the most amount of disadvantage because they will have to traverse through this open land, through this treacherous passage that preys upon the weak, and Total Gaming are the predators who are looking to hunt them down. The Skylar Riptide would have thrown onto Zamin. He gets knocked by Mafia, and Mafia is on fire. The dash is used by Hitman and Goku won't really save them because Mafia goes for the whole Armada, and he's knocking every single player down.
Goku, the last man standing, using Kenta to move forward. Mafia, what a character to have in this final fight. Kinotra stuck between the players of Total Gaming. The last man, can he do anything? No, say Total Gaming. And this final fight with one survivor from Team Tycoons and a full squad of Total Gaming secure a start, secure a booyah, the very first game. And it is none other than Total Gaming. The way they ended yesterday is the way they start.